Hey guys, we're back with another episode of our Sryth fantasy text-based RPG. Just for forewarning, I might reduce this down to 3 times a week instead of 5 times. Because in the beginning I had a lot of content. I mean, I still do, but I had a lot of stuff to do in gaining skills, gaining powers, and just doing the startings of the game. So now it's a little more exploration based, more, because is there an overarching reason for me adventuring in this game? Like the character, I mean, Allison? Like, I don't think there is. I think she just goes around helping people and being a hero, which is great. Um, but now that I don't really have an agenda, it's just a little bit more difficult for me to record as much on this. So, just fair warning about that. I appreciate anybody who watches any of these videos. That's really cool of you. I'm glad to have you. And so, hey, let's keep going. So yeah, probably Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, like my main games, which is Gothic 4, and my main game, or Harry Potter is my other main stuff that comes out at 8 a.m. is my main stuff. So right now that's Gothic 4, and Harry Potter are my main, most important uploads for me. I should be finishing off Pokemon Red soon, and I'm gonna start doing Fallout 4 on here. It won't be the same days as Pokemon Red, I don't think. Maybe it is. I don't know. But yeah, as I finish games, I'm probably only gonna do like 4 at a time because right now I have Pokemon Shining Pearl, Pokemon Red, Fallout. I've started it already. This game, Sryth, Harry Potter, and I want to redo and start over with Harry Potter too, and not just read it, but also have like discussions, chapter by chapter on it. Read the chapter and then have like a thorough, in-depth discussion, or have discussions as I'm reading it. It really is to help me with trivia and just being immersed in the world because I do write a lot of Harry Potter fanfic and I want to be as accurate as canon as possible, but also create my own story and develop my own story. And the best way for me to do that is to really memorize and know the chapters very well. And so there'll probably be, once I finish reading all the chapters, there'll probably be another book or another series starting where I actually analyze and think about everything as well. And it's been a while since I've read the latter of the books. Like the first 3 I read pretty often. But the fourth on, I don't read that often, so it's a lot of stuff slip in my mind. So anyway, we got Sryth, we got Harry Potter, we got Gothic 4, we got Fallout, we got the 2 Pokemons. I think that's it. That's like 6 things. And so what I want to do is sort of reduce it down to 4, maybe. Yeah, so once I finish Pokemon Red, that'll be replaced by Fallout 4. Once I finish Shining Pearl, that one I think is one I'll start replacing with more Pokemon games. Like, I want to go through the whole series. So from Red to, like, not Yellow, skip Yellow, because that's the same game. But like Gold or whatever, Gold or Silver, really Crystal. I'll probably skip to Crystal because I like Crystal the best out of those 3 in the series, and Ruby, and so on and so forth. So I do want to go through the whole catalog of Pokemon games, and then so Shining Pearl I replace with that. Gothic 4. Once that's done, I don't know how long that'll take because I don't really remember where I am right now in the game, how much further it is. And there's also like a spin-off, like a DLC of Gothic 4 that I want to do as well, so that could be more months. So that might be a while. And we already talked about Harry Potter, but maybe once I finish Ocarina, I probably won't add anything there. So I'll have a Pokemon, I'll have Sryth, I'll have Gothic, and I'll have Harry Potter, and we'll have Fallout. That'll be a long series as well, just because that's a very involved game. So yeah, if you wanted some insight into how I'm doing these videos, if you care at all, I know I don't have a lot of followers or people watching to care, but that is my plan moving forward, to sort of reduce Sryth, take it down to 3 days a week, and then continue on all the games that I'm playing until they're complete. And as they complete, we'll bring on something else. So I'm hoping to finish Pokemon Red here shortly. I'm at the Elite Four pretty much, and then we will replace that with Fallout 4. Just because I love that game and I always like to restart it for some reason because I'm a weirdo. But I'm obsessed with Fallout 4, so that's why. Um, and then once the other Pokemon's done, we'll go through the Pokemon series. And then once Gothic's done, we'll replace it. Gothic or yeah, once Gothic's done, we'll replace with something probably new. So maybe I'll play Pokemon Arceus. I haven't played that, or something just I've never played before. Because people, I guess, like you just do things blind as well. Never, I like to know everything about a game before I play it. And so I never really go in blind. But I could try that for the channel as well. So, hey, 5 minutes rambling on. Sorry about that, but thanks so much for hanging out and joining me. Let's keep going now with Sryth. So we're still in Trithic. I'm gonna hit up the. I don't need these headphones because there's no sound in this game. It's text based. And I'll just get hot. So we've done all the proving grounds. We're just doing quests around the city mostly. So what I want to do first and foremost, obviously, is to go get my bonus, my experience bonus here. We finished the old man quest, so besides that, we need to go to my castle, which is in the southeast by Tridmore, and upgrade my upgrades. Yeah, so we could just upgrade the upgrades we have here, which is my Chamber of the Sun, which is like a big clock room. It kind of reminded me of that episode of in the library of Avatar, The Last Airbender. We have a big sundial or something. I mean, it was a I forget what they're called, solarium or something. What is it called? I don't know. But it was cool. It showed all the constellations and stuff, and it showed you when there was going to be a solar eclipse and stuff. I don't remember what that's called, but cool nonetheless. And we saw candles, high candles. So we're in Western, back to Trithic. So we'll go back to Trithic, and see what adventures are left. There's none in the main area, so we go explore the city. There's a man watching me from the far. This happens all the time. He runs off every time I approach him, so maybe one day he'll be like, hey, what's up? But let's start with Blaze Square and do the adventures here. A midday encounter and the Swindler's Den. Okay. Let's start the midday encounter. Somebody stole my money? As you push your way through the midday crowd in the Blade Square, a grimy street urchin dressed in filthy rags runs up from behind a merchant's wagon and collides with you. The boy exhales sharply as he collapses to the ground in a heap. Before you can offer him a hand, the young boy staggers to his feet and curses at you, his long strings of biting insults drawing a chorus of laughter from a couple of nearby tradesmen. The boy quickly dusts off his hopelessly unclean attire and darts off into the crowd. You're horrified to discover that you've had your pocket picked. You curse out loud and spin around to catch sight of the boy still dodging and weaving through the crowd. Wasting no time, you set off in pursuit to the young thief. Yeah, chase him. Chase! The crowded square managing... Oh, you dash across the crowded square, managing to keep the swift-footed urchin inside. It appears and he's not aware of the fact that he's been followed. He's being followed. However, as the boy nears the square's western arch, you're surprised to see him hand off a large cloth bag to a boy who lurks in the shadows nearby. This new lad grins broadly and runs off beneath the arch, exiting Blade Square to the west. The boy you were chasing lingers about beneath the towering archway for several seconds before moving back into the crowded square. Okay, continue my original target. You slip rapidly through the crowd and towards the unsuspecting urchin completely by surprise. Before he can react, you grab him by the shoulders and spin around to face you. Stands up in your wide, fearful eyes. When you demand they return your gold, his eyes begin to tear up and his lower jaw starts to tremble. Despite his apparent emotional state, he emphatically denies any knowledge of his stolen gold. You angrily demand that he produce your missing gold, but he bursts into tears and starts to sob uncontrollably. His pathetic sobs catch the attention of a pair of city guards patrolling the square. You turn in stride purpose. They turn in stride purposefully toward you. The young lad begins to squirm feverishly as the guards approach, but you manage to retain your hold on him. You explain his actions to the guardsmen. They seem to accept your version of events, although they offer little in the form of assistance. The guards take hold of the young boy and tell him to leave this part of the city and not return. As the boy scampers off through the crowd, one of the guardsmen shakes his head. The rabble from the north inn needs to be taught a hard lesson one of these days, he grumbles. The guardsmen bid you farewell and move off to the square. With no other recourse at hand and a little hope of ever seeing your stolen gold again, you continue on your way. Oh, that's it. Well, fun. Alright, next one. Swindler's Den. Embark. The special tips and notes available for this adventure has multiple paths. Yeah, we're just gonna get the path we get, you know what I mean? Belgarath, his tremendous fur-clad bulk spilling over the sides of the wobbly chair into which he managed to squeeze himself, frowns and shakes his head. He mutters something that sounds like a curse and calls for two men standing against a wall at his back to come forward. And as the merchant's leather-clad sword-wielding enforcers step eagerly to their paymaster's side, your mind begins to race. You have little doubt that Belgarath, incensed by your refusal of his unjust terms, will swiftly resort to the horrific brutality that has long served as a cornerstone of his fearsome reputation. You're out of chances, friend, snarls the merchant. You ought to have accepted what I was willing to pay. Now I'll have your carcass tossed out into the road, and I might just keep what you came in to swindle me over. The fearsome brute scoops out the pouch of glowing stones. You present it to him and stuffs them into the outer pocket of his grimy vest. Realizing that the situation is likely deteriorating beyond repair, your thoughts retreat to the events that led up to this increasingly unpleasant scene. Yesterday, Blade Square, Sryth. It was late yesterday afternoon while passing through Blade Square when you were approached by a young woman and a man apparently serving as a personal guard, a man who might have been mistaken for a small ogre under different circumstances. The woman, who more than once refused to reveal her identity, beseeched you to take possession of a pouch of glowing stones into Gadaron's Inn and seek out the infamous and reviled Belgarath. It was her expressed hope that the notorious merchant would be willing to pay a substantial sum of gold for the enchanted rocks. They're worth much more than I'll ever get for them, the young woman told you. But I can't afford to tarry at this point. Please take them to Belgarath and see what he'll give you for them. These are the sort of things he can readily turn into gold, a great deal of gold. They're bound to fetch twice the 4,000 gold I'm seeking to get for them. I dare not go to Belgarath myself, though. It wouldn't be safe. I was told that you might do it on my behalf, and that you wouldn't fear someone like Belgarath, that you could be trusted, and I would pay you, of course. Realizing the young woman was quite likely in some sort of dire trouble and in desperate need of gold, you agreed to her proposal. You would take the pouch of stones to Belgarath and see what the vile scoundrel would give you for them. She quickly offered you 200 gold as payment, promising you half now and the rest when you return with the payment from Belgarath. I'm just saying, if it's worth 8,000, he's gonna give you, and you're only asking for 4. Why can't I have the other 4,000? Why are you giving me 200? More gold. Request for a more substantial payment was at first met with some silence by the young woman. However, within just a few moments she agreed, and the price job was set at 400 gold, and she immediately told her imposing companion to pay you. Then, after thanking you, she asked that you meet in a nearby well of blaze when the job was done. She reminded you that the stones should be worth at least 4,000 gold to Belgarath, though she promised to be grateful for whatever he could reasonably obtain for them. You assured her you would see to it Belgarath paid a fair sum for the stones. Before turning, you leave with the mysterious pair and heading off in the direction of Gadaron's Inn, seeking the whereabouts of his most notorious denizen. For a better part of the day, you scour Gadaron's Inn, prowling the streets of Sryth, the most perilous quarter, seeking out anyone who might know where to find Belgarath, any clue that will point you in the direction of the vile knave. At last, trusting a ragged bit of information you gleaned from a scattered conversation with a hopeless drunkard outside one of the inn's most notorious alehouses, you set off for the riverfront, hoping to find the great scoundrel laying low, conducting his unscrupulous affairs from a shack saddled up to one of the main piers. It was just after dawn on the day following your excursion to Gadaron's Inn that you locate the riverfront shack to which you've been directed. Much to your elation, Belgarath himself was present inside the dilapidated hut and seemed eager to have a look at the porch at the pouch of stones. Needless to say, however, negotiations over the proper price for a woman's pouch of enchanted stones has not gone exceedingly well. The dire present. Velgoreth snaps his finger, and his two men step forward, brandishing their cruel blades in obvious anticipation of carrying out the vile merchant's bidding. Suddenly the foul swindler raised from his chair and again snaps his finger. The sharp echoing crack of their master's well-practiced gesture draws both their guards to immediate halt. They glance fearfully at one another before each of them takes a step back. "Now leave this one to me," he says, sneering as he steps out from behind the table which he is seated. "Wait outside, we've got some negotiations to conclude." Without a word, the merchant's two guards turn and exit the shack, leaving you alone with the fearsome, unpredictable man whose legendary rage is equalled only by his inhuman might, strength that some dare to say rivaled that of a young ogre. Unwilling to be bullied from the frightening brute, you place your hands on your hips and allow your defiant gaze to meet the chilling stare of a man no stranger to murder. "Well, shall we do this? What shall we do about this little impasse of ours?" muses the vulgar behemoth as he steps to the front of the table and places his hands on his hips, seemingly mimicking your stance. Much to your surprise, he apologizes for having referred to you as a worm. "Mine is a reputation sullied by false grievance, lest you should have other less truthful ideas," he said. "I'm a fair man above all, quite honestly. I seek only peace and profit. Obtaining one without the other is, as I see it, without something of a waste. Wouldn't you agree?" Velgoreth tells you that he will pay 1,000 gold for the stone, doubling his original offer of 500. He gently pats the side of his vest, and seemingly keen to remind you he still possesses the pouch. As you contemplate your next move, you're reminded that the young woman who said believed they're worth at least 4,000 gold to Velgoreth, a price you already attempted but failed to obtain. Return the pouch. You boldly demand that Velgoreth return you to the pouch of stones now tucked in the outside pocket of your vest. The notorious Swindler frowns and shakes his head. "I think not. I'll give you one last chance to leave with more than you came with, and only one. My offer stands at 1,000 gold. I suggest you lend it special consideration." Realizing you've just been threatened by a man long expected, having murdered by his own and numerous rivals and enemy, you hurriedly ponder your next move. Velgoreth seems immediately put off by your attempt to bargain over the price he's willing to pay. When you tell him that you accept nothing less than 4,000 gold for them, his face adopts a bright crimson hue. "And what, pray tell, makes you believe I would ever pay for that much for a pouch of trinkets?" he says with a glare. "Well, for what?" Seems like an eternity. Velgoreth stands still as a statue, his hardened gaze frozen in you. Then, just when you're about to consider your next move, he suddenly agreed to the price of 4,000 gold. It's a bit more than I'd normally pay for these sort of trinkets, but I am above all a fair man, and you never scurry away from here without unkind thought about me after all. Velgoreth immediately summons one of his numerous underlings, a thin, balding man, seemingly nervous in the presence of the bulky superior, shuffles into the shack and regards you with an icy glare as a hefty trader orders him to fetch your gold. "Nothing little bit of fair business conducted by honourable folks," says Velgoreth, again patting the pocket on his vest, which the pouch of stones and sucks. "Hurry up, Gerthby. Our friend here doesn't have to the next moment to wait out your lag." Gerthby, whose name was so unceremoniously revealed, scurries away and returns a few moments later with the gold. After first looking at Velgoreth and receiving a curt no, the thin, nervous man hands the payment over to you. "Nice. Unless, let us conclude with something to take away from this morning's edge. I'm fetching a bottle of root wine. I don't mean to assume, of course. How about it? Fancy a bit of ginners?" "Okay." Velgoreth fills a pair of small, ornate flagons with root wine and hands one of the vessels to you. Though initially suspicious of the drink, the moment the notorious trader downs the serving in the blink of an eye, you set aside your prudence and give and partake of the strong, pungent spirit. "You waited for me to drink first, didn't you? A bit more cunning than most of a lot I find myself entangled with. I think we might just be able to work something out between us. I was often in need of a sure hand on various endeavours." When you finish your root wine, the infamous Swindler escorts you out of the shack, pausing on the threshold to bid you farewell. "I know who and what you are," he says suddenly, a mission catching you off guard. "Or is it anything that goes on around here I don't have anything or set of eyes or ears upon? You've done quite well for yourself, and there's no denying that. I don't know at whose behest you sought me out, but it was wise to do so. I'm apt to be interested in magical trinkets and the sort, after all, and that hard to dispose of." Velgoreth looks across the pier and frowns, apparently having taken notice of something that threatens to sour his position. "Matters to attend to, nothing more. Before you go, let me just make clear on this point, friend. Today you came seeking me, and I was able to help you. Tomorrow, a year from now, perhaps next week, I might have the reason to seek you out. Now let me understand you've come you can come to sensible arrangements. Now go and be merry, for the sky portends a fair day. You bid Velgoroth farewell before turning and heading away from the river in front. After a few moments, you glance back and spot the bulky merchant making his way along the edge of the pier, his attention apparently fixed on a small boat just now being tied off by its three-man crew. As you make your way through the waking streets of the Adderstone, an unsettling feeling comes over you. Several times you look back over your shoulder, half expecting to discover some dark figures slinking along the edge of the lane in pursuit. Never once, however, did you find any evidence to suggest that you've been followed. Despite this, you prudently adopt a meandering route that takes you across a vast stretch of city before last resuming a direct course for Blade Square. You reach Blade Square and find the young woman and her burly companion waiting for you as promised by the Well of Blades. She appears grateful for your help and listens intently as you briefly describe your encounter and negotiation with the vile Swindler, concluding with mention of 4,000 gold you received for the pouch of stones. It's beyond belief that you actually got that much for them, she says, shaking her head. I'd never allowed myself to hope for such an outcome. Thank you. You give her the gold paid to you by Velgoroth, and she promptly provides you the remainder of the payment. You spend the next few minutes conversing with the young woman, all the while resisting the urge to inquire about her name and the nature of the dilemma which prompted her to seek your help. You begin to sense that she and her companion may be growing nervous, perhaps eager to be on their way. You bid her farewell and wish her luck on whatever lies ahead. She sets forward, meets you in a shoulder cross, and again thanks you. Then, with hastened steps, she turns and slips off along the street in the shadow of her imposing protector, heading in the direction of the city gates. And as you watch her depart, you pray the nameless woman and a person whose remains in every way mystery to you will find safety and perhaps no peace of mind on wherever her road next leads her. Oh, that's kind. Wish her peace of mind. Gosh. Bro, what do you want? As you approach the man, he retreats several steps in motion. You step closer. After making certain that no one else is lurking about nearby, you move over to him and ask what he wants. A wrinkled face peers at you from beneath the folds of the broad hood. Travel to the southern reaches of the kingdom. There, in the valley of the Thane, you'll find the copper wood. Aldraria has returned, and her strength grows each day that passes. The heroes have taken the fight to her. Could use someone like you, Alison, to boast of their beleaguered ranks. Ask the old man why he's watching you, and how he knows your name, and he immediately becomes agitated. Don't waste your time. You must travel to Copperwood and Thaneville. Join the fight. With that, he turns and steps away, and you once again set off on your way. You guys gonna remember this? I'm not. Is this somebody else? This is the same guy. Is this what, following me around? Guess I want to talk to him again. Well, Blades, there's Venture here. Shimmering Spring. A bit man, his ragged attire and toothless grin make him look more the part of a beggar than the spellcaster he claims to be. Fetching a grimy vial from his pocket inside, he hands the vessel to you. Someone is messaging me. Annoyingly. Do you think we have time for this? Sounds like it might be a long one. Oh. Yeah, I think not. Alright, let's do it. Nah, let's go back. Return to Blade Square. See where else we got adventures going on. Marketplace. Any adventures in the marketplace? There are. One about peddling a rather strange request. Yeah, I think not about me having time. We'll just look elsewhere, see how many adventures there are. So there's Adventure of the Well, there's Adventure in the Marketplace. Um, and there's none at the city gates anymore. Oh no, no, go back in. Was it River Docks? There's a woman who's watching me. There's always somebody watching me. Like, can you stop watching me? Oh, the city. Northern part. Alright. Explore the city. Eastern part. Explore the city. Explore the city streets. Oh, yeah, I don't know that. Alright, so a couple more quests or adventures in the gates. I know this is a very short episode, but I just want to lay down that groundwork really and do a bit. But the next two episodes will be more robust. Maybe I'll go to like 40 minutes instead, since I'm only doing 3 a week now. So, hey, thanks so much for hanging out and joining me. Until next time, you know what I'm going to say. Peace. La la la.